It was supposed to be the trip of a lifetime, a father taking his teenage daughters, 14-year-old twins, on a long-awaited journey. But in the thin air of cruising altitude, joy turned into suspicion. A flight attendant's sharp eyes followed the girls like shadows, her tone colder with every word. They weren't misbehaving, but somehow, they were always wrong. The girls sat frozen, trying to understand why they were singled out. Their father knew precisely why. What happened next would bring the entire flight to a halt. Watch until the end. Please tell us where you're watching from in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories like this. Hope Many Rains had always told his daughters, Naomi and Nia, that their names carried power. At just 14, they were bright, ambitious, and inseparable, two halves of the same heartbeat. For weeks, they'd been excited about this trip, teasing each other over who'd get the window seat, snapping selfies at the gate, dreaming of what awaited them when they landed. Hope was no stranger to travel. As a consultant, he had boarded dozens of planes, always following the unspoken rules of airports and cabins. He carried himself with quiet confidence, but he never forgot the lessons of the world, lessons about how people who looked like them were often treated differently. Still, he wanted this flight to be about joy, not caution. He wanted his daughters to feel free. But sometimes, freedom is the very thing others try hardest to take away. Barely 30 minutes into the flight, the change became unmistakable. The flight attendant stopped by their row, her lips pressed into a thin line. She scolded Naomi for having her backpack slightly tucked under her legs, though the bag wasn't blocking anything. Hope quickly adjusted it, offering a polite nod. But instead of leaving, the attendant's eyes narrowed at Nia, claiming she was distracting others. By humming softly to her headphones, the girls exchanged confused glances. Around them, other teens sprawled in seats, laughing, sharing snacks, and even playing games loudly. No one else was warned, only them. Hope tried to keep his composure. He had raised his daughters to carry themselves with grace, but he could see their shoulders shrinking under the unwanted spotlight. Each visit from the attendant took a new accusation. Seatbelts too loose, whispers too loud, even the way Naomi brushed crumbs from her lap. Passengers began noticing. Some frowned, others filmed quietly. The tension thickened with every warning. Hope's mind raced. This wasn't about order, safety, or rules. It was about perception. His daughters weren't seen as children full of laughter and light. They were seen as threats, as problems. And with every unjust reprimand, the twins' innocence was being chipped away. How much longer before this humiliation escalated into something even more dangerous? The breaking point came when the attendant leaned close, her voice sharp enough for nearby rows to hear. "If they can't behave, the captain will have to be notified." Naomi's face went pale, and Nia's lip trembled. Hope's chest tightened. He had seen too many moments like this end badly, where a misunderstanding became a headline. He stood slowly, towering over the row, voice steady but unwavering. "Then call him," he said. "Because I will." The cabin call button glowed. A ripple of whispers spread across the passengers. When the captain finally emerged, Hope laid it all bare. The targeted treatment, the baseless warnings, the humiliation. The captain's gaze shifted from the frightened teens to the rigid attendant. Then, in silence, he made a choice that stunned the entire plane. The announcement shocked everyone. The plane was turning back. The captain cited crew misconduct, his voice echoing through the intercom. Gasps filled the cabin, for the first time. The attendant's composure cracked. Hope wrapped his arms around Naomi and Nia, whispering, "You did nothing wrong." The girls clung to him, shaken but comforted by his strength. When the plane landed, the airline scrambled with apologies. But the scars remained. The twins had learned a painful truth too early. Prejudice doesn't pause at 30,000 feet. It follows, waiting for a moment to strike. For Hope, the decision to stand up was never about him. It was about protecting their dignity, their childhood, their future. And for us, watching now, the question lingers. How many more daughters must face this same fate? Which country and city are you watching from? Take care.